Hey guys, it's Hogan here and welcome to our new warehouse that we recently moved into to scale up our e-commerce operations. And I felt like this is the perfect time to share something with you guys that has really helped our business email marketing. These are our shelves where we store our products. And this is where we pack our orders. But this is where all the magic happens. So if you're running a Shopify e-commerce store and you haven't set up email marketing yet, then you're seriously leaving money on the table and you're walking past it every single day. And the best part about it is I'll be showing you guys how to set up your email marketing just like how the top e-commerce brands do it for their websites. So I'll walk you through everything that you need to know step by step, from connecting your Shopify store with the email marketing platform to collecting emails and creating embed forms as well as pop-up forms. I'll show you guys how to do a welcome email automation as well as the abandoned cart and abandoned checkout automations. Then we'll go through how to set up your first email campaigns as well as your first SMS campaigns. We'll also talk about segmentation and other advanced features. So if you're ready, without much further ado, let's get into the tutorial. In this tutorial, we'll be using Omnisend to set up our email marketing. So this is the email platform that we personally use. It's also one of the top rated apps on Shopify, and it's made specifically for e-commerce websites. The best thing about it is that you can get started for free without a credit card and collect 250 contacts as well as send up to 500 emails per month. It also has a much deeper integration with Shopify when compared to something like MailChimp, which makes things a lot more seamless. And finally, it offers better value compared to competitors such as Klaviyo, especially as your email list grows. To get started with Omnisend, you can head to hoganchua.com/Omnisend. That's going to take you to this page here, which they've created for our viewers, allowing you guys to start for free. And if you do choose to upgrade to their paid plans, you can get 30% off for the first 3 months with our code Hogan30. So you can go ahead and click on Start for Free. So you can sign up via Shopify or you can log in with your Google account as well as signing up with email. If you have an account already, you can click on Login. So I'm going to go ahead and create a new account. I'm going to select e-commerce, agree to the terms, and click on sign up. Next, you want to verify your email address. From here, we can fill in our information. Select the platform for your store. Here, I'm going to select none and then click on continue. So we're going to set in the business address. And you can put in a PO box for now if you don't have a physical address or your residential address. Set in a time zone, and then click on continue to Omnisend. Okay, congratulations, we have created our Omnisend account. The first thing that we need to do is to connect Omnisend with our Shopify store. So what you need to do is click on connect to Shopify. You want to make sure that you have logged in to Shopify store. So from here, we can scroll to the left and click on install. Click on install. This is where you can set in your brand assets. So if you have your logo, you can upload your logo as well as set in your color scheme here and your fonts. So the benefit of setting this now is that when you are setting up your email campaigns, it's going to pull in all your brand assets, saving you a lot of time. So you can go ahead and edit the colors. So for example, we can choose the colors from here, or you can actually choose it from a specific color code. You can also set in the fonts. So let's set in our fonts, and then we're going to click on Save Brand Assets. So this offer here is asking you if you want to remove the Powered by Omnisend in your emails. If you do have to sign up to the paid plans, and you can check that out. But for now, we're going to click on Close. So congratulations, we have basically connected our store. Step number 2, capturing emails. There are essentially 2 main ways that you can do this. One is through an email embedded form. So this is a static form that we can display on any page on your website. For example, on shoes, if we scroll down over here, you will see a email embedded form in the footer section. So I'll be showing you guys how to create something similar that you can embed on your website. The other form is an email pop-up form. So this is a form that pops up as your visitors browse your website. For example, on Comfort. So this pop-up appears. As you can see, we can close it. Same thing with Woody. and same thing with skims. So these are pop-up forms, and I'll show you guys how to create one for your website. To create an email embed form on your Shopify website, it's actually very, very simple. So we can head to the dashboard of your Shopify store and click on Online Store. From here, you want to click on Customize. On the left-hand side here, what we can do is we can add in a section. We're going to add this section on our homepage. If you want to add the email embed form on another page, you can select the pages from the top here. So for example, if we want to scroll down and let's say we want to add a email embed form below this section here, then what we could do is find the section and then click on add section. From here, we can search for email and click on the email sign up. So as you can see, that has been added in. And what you can do, you can click into that to edit the text. You can also edit the subheading as well. So for example, if you want to offer 10% off for the first order, you can change the text here. And let's click on back. If you want to change the color scheme, you can click on the background over here and you can select a color scheme. So for example, this one. If you want to change the color scheme, then you can select a different one. If you want to customize it further, you can also click on the theme settings and you can add a new scheme or you can edit an existing one. So for example, we can click into this one here and we can change the background color. So for example, let's say we want to change it to a purple. Then what we could do is save and we can click on back and then we can go back and click here and then select the scheme and it's going to apply the color scheme. Once you're happy with that, we can click on save. And because your website is connected to OmniSend, the subscribers are going to appear in the audiences section in your contacts. So while setting up the email embed form using the native Shopify email form is really easy and it works, it does have some limitations. So first of all, it doesn't allow you to add a custom background image. Second of all, it doesn't allow you to capture more data. For example, if you want to capture someone's first name or phone number or birthdays, you can't do that. And thirdly, it doesn't allow you to tag that specific subscriber, allowing you to categorize your subscriber so that later on you can send more specific and relevant emails to them depending on which form they've actually signed up from. So what I want to show you now is something a little bit more advanced. It's not that hard. It just takes a few more steps and a few more minutes to do, but I'll show you guys how to set it up just like how the professionals do it. So to create a custom embed form for your Shopify store, you can navigate to OmniSend and you want to navigate and click on forms. So from here, we want to click on view other form types. And what we want to do is scroll down a little bit. For the type, we want to select embedded. And from here, we want to select a embed form template. So I'm just going to go ahead and select a very simple one, but you can choose one which is most suitable for your business. So we're going to go ahead and use this one. On the left-hand side, you can drag any element and you can put it into your form. So right now, I just want to create a very simple form. And then what you can do on the right-hand side is you can click on the audience management. So here you can actually set in a specific tag. So for example, you could do like homepage. So let's say you are putting this form on your homepage, then you can tag it with homepage. If, for example, you are launching a new collection or a new product, perhaps you can create a separate form and tag that with new product. So then therefore, you know where that specific subscriber is from. So then you can send a very, very specific and relevant email to them, depending on where they've actually subscribed from. So we're going to create new and let's click on back over here. On the right-hand side, you can customize how your form looks. For example, you can click on the buttons and you can change the button colors and the styles, but we're going to leave everything as is. I just wanted to show you guys how to actually set it up. So let's click on success. You can change your messaging here as well as the subscribed messaging. Then once you're ready, we can go ahead and enable this form. So let's just enable that form. So here we have a code that we can copy to our clipboard. So copy this code to your clipboard. Now navigate back to your Shopify store. What I recommend downloading is an app called Pagefly Page Builder. So there are also other page builders out there for Shopify and it should work the same, but I'm going to be working with Pagefly. So click on Pagefly. And on the left hand side here, click on sections. So we're going to create a new section. So we're going to create a blank section. So I think on the free plan, you can create one. So click on create blank section. And then here we can go ahead and add element. So we're going to create just a blank block. And then next, what we can do is search for the HTML liquid. So you want to click on that. And then you want to drop it in here. And then click on open code editor. So here we have copied the code from OmniSend before. And this is going to display that form. So we're going to click on done. And right now it doesn't actually show anything. So what we can do is we can also add in a image. So let's click on the background, click on styling. Then we can scroll down. You can edit how it actually looks here. And you can also change the typography within that section. Scroll down to background. And we're going to click on select image. Here you can upload your image. So I've already uploaded one image here. And what we need to do is click on done. Then scroll up. I want to add a little bit of padding to the top and the bottom so that we can actually see more of that image. So let's just try 150 by 150. And then we're going to click on save. We're going to title this section email opt-in, and we're going to put that as home. So just so we know that this is for our home page, click on save and publish again. So on the free plan, there is one free slot. So we're going to click on publish. This is just showing you how to add it on your page. So I'm going to show you how to do that right now. Click on close, and we're going to close that. So as you can see, we have published that section. Next, what we need to do is click on online store, and you want to click on customize. Then next, we can scroll down to whichever section where we want to add that specific email sign up form. So here we can click on plus and add section. And what we want to search for is search for the page flyer section. So here we're going to select the section that we just created, which is the email opt-in. So once you've selected that, then we can click on save. And as you can see, we have the email opt-in here. So because the background of the image is quite dark, you won't be able to see that. You can go back to OmniSend and we can edit the style and the color of that. So we want to change the color of that. So let's click into the text, change the text color to white to make it just a little bit more visible. And then as well as clicking into that one, go to field settings, text color should be white, placeholder color, white, label color, white, and the border color, as well as the button. So click on the button. We're going to click on the button settings. So this is the primary button. Change the background color to white. And then I'm also going to change the border color to white. For the text color, you want to change it to a dark color so we can actually see the text. Then we can close. Let's just save those changes. So if we refresh our page, this is what it will look like. So you can go ahead and customize that even further. You can even go back over here. So if you have your forms created on OmniSend, then you'll also be able to see the views as well as the submit rate. So you can actually get a gauge on how well that form is actually performing rather than just using the default Shopify embed. So next, I want to show you guys how to create a email pop-up form for your website. So hopefully you guys are still with me. The next part is extremely easy to set up. So we're going to navigate to forms. So here we're going to create a new form. And here, instead of embedded form on the left-hand side, we're going to select pop-up. We can select from a range of different templates over here. So the form that we're going to get started with is going to be this one here, email and SMS branded multi-step welcome discounts. This one is one of the most popular ones on OmniSend. Click on use template. On the left-hand side, you can drag in these items onto your email pop-up. Let's say, for example, you want to collect a little bit more information about them. For example, if you want to know their birthday, you can drag and you can drop it into the form just like that. For example, it's their birthday month. then perhaps if you have that data, then you can send them a special promotion or perhaps a free gift during the birthday month if they actually purchase. So we're going to go ahead and just close that for now. On the right hand side here is you can actually set in specific rules on when this form actually appears. Again, here is the audience management. You can actually tag that subscriber so you know basically where that subscriber is coming from, which form they've actually signed up from. For scheduling, you're able to set a start and end date. For example, if you have any special promotions or holidays. Then for the display, here we can actually set in page rules. So generally you don't want your form to pop up as soon as someone enters your website because it may seem a little bit intrusive. Here you can actually set in a sort of minimum page visits. Let's say, for example, we set in 2. So this basically means your visitor needs to visit at least 2 pages before the pop-up appears. You can also set in time on page. So for example, you can set in after 30 seconds, then the pop-up will appear. You can also set a specific scroll depth, how far the visitor is going to scroll, or exit intent. For targeting, you can actually hide it for certain visitors that come from different channels. And visibility, you can hide it on desktop or mobile. So perhaps you have 2 different versions of your pop-ups because maybe you don't want to show too much information, or sometimes the image that you use can be a little bit different because the screen on the mobile device is a little bit small. Then you can also set a frequency. So this is good because you can limit the form appearance. Let's say a visitor visits your website without subscribing. You don't want to keep on bombarding them with your pop-up form. So basically you can limit it to just one, view per visitor per day, or you can set a longer time as well. So you can set minutes, hours, or even longer. So this template is a multi-step welcome discount. So it's going to help you collect emails as well as collect phone numbers. So basically you can run SMS campaigns and you can send out SMSs. So a really great feature about this template is that your visitor can actually skip this step while still, let's say for example, they do enter the email here, but they get to step number 2. They don't want to put their phone number. Their email is actually still collected even if they skip the step. So you can edit this, and you can also click on success, edit the messaging there as well as subscribed. If you don't want to collect their phone numbers, you can click on the 3 dots here and you can delete it, or you can switch it around as well by clicking on switch steps. So once you are ready, then we can click on enable form. So for now, I'm going to stay on the free plan and continue. So once you see this enabled, then the form will be enabled on your website automatically. You don't have to do anything extra. So as you can see, the form has just popped up. So that is really good. Let's just try and enter in our email. Click on get 10% off. And as you can see, this is step number 2, and they can also skip this step if they want to. Step number 3, welcome email automations. So this is the first email that your visitors will get once they subscribe to your email list. To set this up, you can click on dashboard and then click on goals, then click on create welcome workflow. So if you can't find this, sometimes the layout changes, then you can go to automations and then click on explore all workflows. From here, you can select the welcome workflow and start from scratch. So let's head back over here. Let's go back to dashboard, goals, click on create welcome workflow. And then I'm going to select 10%. So this is the discount that we're going to be including in our welcome email. Click on start workflow. So once you've set that up, then you're ready to go. We're going to click on stay on the free plan for now. Click on continue. If we click on automation, then it's going to show up here. Let's click into that. Once your visitor subscribes to the email list, this welcome email will be sent based on these trigger filters. So if it is an email and it's through a sign-up form and it's the first time subscribing to your email list, then after 1 minute, they will be sent this email here. You can click into this email and edit the subject line, pre-header, as well as the sender. And you can also edit the content. And you can edit the content here. The great thing about OmniSend is that it deeply integrates with Shopify. So it's able to pull in and create the discounts directly within the OmniSend dashboard. You don't have to create the coupon on Shopify and then add it in here. Here, you can actually generate a unique coupon code for every customer as well. You can also customize the discount that you want to offer, and you can also set in the expiry as well as customize the look of the button and the colors on this form. So once you're ready, we can click on Finished Editing and Update and Close. Step number 4, abandoned cart and abandoned checkout automations. So to do that, we can also click on Create Workflow in the Automations tab. So if you want to do that manually, but we can do that basically using the Goals feature on the dashboard section here. So click on Goals, and here we can click on Setup Recovery Workflows. So for this example, I'm just going to select 10%, but you can edit that later on. Click on Start Workflows, and that's going to enable both the abandoned cart and the abandoned checkout workflows. We're going to stay on the free plan, and then let's navigate to automation. And here we have enabled the abandoned cart and the abandoned checkout. So let's click on the abandoned cart to go through what it actually has set up. So over here, for the abandoned cart, the customers will actually enter the workflow once they add something to the shopping cart. If they haven't taken any action after an hour, then they'll be sent this email here: items in your cart are selling out. And again, if they don't take any action in another 11 hours, they'll be sent this email: wait for 12 hours. And finally, they'll get a 10% coupon. Scrolling up over here, you can edit the trigger filter by clicking over here if you want to set up a different time. And you can also edit the emails by clicking on Edit Content. So if you think this is a bit too much, you can also go ahead and delete some. So for example, this is the first email, and then wait for 11 hours. Maybe we can delete that one like this. And let's just delete this one as well. So then after 11 hours, they'll get a 10% off the entire cart. So once you are ready, we can click on Publish Changes, and let's just click on Let them finish this workflow. For the abandoned cart, so it works pretty much the same way as the other one, except this is when your customer enters their checkout. So for example, they're filling in their email, they are filling in the shipping details and selecting the payment options and entering the payment details, but they didn't update their checkouts within 1 hour or place an order. Then they'll be sent this email here, and after 11 hours, they'll be sent this email. After 12 hours, they'll be sent this email here. So you can actually leave everything as is. If you want to edit it, you can go ahead and edit that, but let's just click on Update and Close. Before we move on to the next step, I want to talk a little bit about split test and A/B test, because this is a popular feature on OmniSend as well as being used by a lot of top websites in their email marketing campaigns and automations. So when it comes to split test, in a split test, you basically send a specific email to your recipient based on certain conditions. So let's say, for example, we have customer 1 and they abandoned a cart with a total value of $79. Then you've also got customer 2 who abandons a cart worth $279. So in OmniSend, you can set a specific condition. For example, if the customer has less than $150 in their cart, they will be sent email 1, which basically offers them 10% off the cart. Then if that condition is not met and they spend more than $150, then they get a different email. For example, they get a free gift as well as express shipping. So the reason why this works well is because as a company, obviously if they spend more, then you're able to make more profit for that order. So you're able to spend a little bit more to entice them to actually make that purchase. So let's take a quick look at how this works in practice. Right now we are on the abandoned cart email flow. So let's say, for example, we want to drag in a split test. So we can click on the split on the left-hand side, and let's drag it in between here. So on the right-hand side is basically where we can set the rules or the conditions. And the rule that we're going to select is the trigger filters. For the filter, for this example, we're going to select cart total, and we're going to select if it is less than $150. Click on save. So if it is less than $150, your subscribers are going to be sent this email over here. If it's not, which basically means it is over 150, then they'll be sent this email that we input here. So you can go ahead and edit the content as well as the subject line and pre-header. So for example, free gift. You can also utilize the AI feature, and we can click on that to generate some ideas for you, or you can just use that as is. This is going to be a store name. Scrolling down, and you can click on edit content to essentially edit the email content. So click on yes, save. We're going to exit them from the workflow. Publish. This is the email that you can edit. So for example, you can drop in an image of the free gift. You can also add text, buttons, anything that you need in here. Once you're done, you can preview and test, and then you can click on finish editing. So this is the basics of how the split test will work, and you can customize it however you wish. So let's talk about A/B test and what it actually is. In an A/B test, you send a different email to a certain amount of your email list. So for example, you can send 50% of the people subscribed email 1, and then you can send the other 50% email 2. So between these two emails, you can make subtle changes. For example, you can change the subject, you can also change the pre-header, you can also change the content. The idea of it is to find out which title or pre-header or content works the best. And then after a certain amount of time, or after you've sent a certain amount of emails, you can see which email performs better. So you can look at the results. For example, how many people have clicked on email 1 or email 2. You can check out the open rate percentage. You could also check how many sales it has actually driven between the two different emails. So let's take a quick look at how it will work in practice. Right now we are in the abandoned checkout workflow. So on the left-hand side, we're going to drop in A/B testing. We're going to drop it just below there. And here we have path A and path B. So 50-50, 50% of people will get email A and 50% of people will get email B. So we're going to drop in this email here, drop it into email A or path A, and we're also going to duplicate it, and we're going to drop this onto path B. What this basically means is that 50% of who have subscribed to the flow is going to get this email. The other 50% is going to get this email. So what you want to do is you can edit the subject line here, and you can see which subject line performs better. So maybe you can use the AI feature, and perhaps let's just simplify that. And we can use this one here, and then click on update. So when you are doing A/B test, you do want to test sort of one element at a time. So for example, we just want to test the subject line for now and see which one is the winner. Then we can pick that email, and then we can test the pre-header and so on. And then finally, perhaps we can also test the content and see which one performed better in terms of the sales, click-through rates, or the open rates. Step number 5, creating your first email campaign. So navigate to campaigns in your dashboard, and then you can click on create email campaign. On the left-hand side, we can enter in a subject line. It's also going to display on the right-hand side as a preview. For the sender's name, this is going to be a store name or your brand name. Set in a pre-header. You can also use the AI feature for some inspiration. For the campaign name, this is going to be just for internal use. And then on the right-hand side, click on choose email template. On the left-hand side, we can select a goal. So we're going to promote a new product. So we can scroll down and see which one is the most suitable template for your products. Let's just say, for example, this one over here. We can click on preview, or we can just select use template. On the left-hand side, we can drag in any of these items into our email. So for example, we can delete it as well. So we can delete entire sections. Scrolling down over here, we can edit the text and the buttons, as well as editing and adding in your own product images. So you can click into that and you can replace it, as well as edit the text and the prices. So this is good if you haven't added any products yet onto your store. For example, it's a completely new product, but you still want to display the image as well as the price here, but you haven't added on your website yet, then you can do that. So you can use basically a column. So quick add over here. We can scroll down. You can add 2 columns. And then this is going to be just an image as well as some text. If you want to pull in products directly from your website, we can delete this layout. And on the left-hand side, we can hover over here and we can use the product listing. Drag it and just drop it to wherever you want. And then here, this is basically going to pull the images as well as the products on your website. On the right-hand side, we can click on Pick Products from Store. And here we can individually select the products that we want to add. So for example, this one, this one, this one. Let's just choose 4. Click on Add. And here are our products. So on the left-hand side, you can change the layout as well as the number of columns. Over here, it's displaying the description. I don't think it looks too good, so we can also disable that. So once you're ready, you can click on Preview and Test. You want to try and keep your email below 100 kilobytes, otherwise it may get clipped in Gmail. Basically, it's not going to show the content unless they actually click on the Show More button. So you want to try and keep it below that by ensuring that you don't add too many images. Keep your email just short and sweet. And then you can also do a test email. Once you're ready, we can close it and then click on Save and choose Recipients. You can choose all subscribers. Perhaps if you have some news that all your subscribers should know about, you can select that, or you can click on Choose Segments, which I'll show you guys how to create and set in later, because you do want to make sure the emails that you send are really relevant. That ensures your spam score is low, and then ultimately the emails are delivered. So I'm going to select all subscribers for now. Click on Review Campaign. You can also select the Campaign Booster. This will automatically resend your email to the subscribers who actually have missed it. So we can scroll down over here and you can go back to edit the settings as well as the recipients again. You can choose to send it now, or you can schedule it for later. Once you're ready, we can click on Schedule. Okay, congratulations, we have set up our first email campaign. And you can also click on View Campaigns to check out your campaigns that you have scheduled or sent. Step number 6, let's create our first SMS campaign. Navigate to Campaigns, then click on Create Campaign, select SMS, and here we can set in a campaign name. So let's just do one for our new collection. For the sender's name, this is going to be your store name. Enter in a message text. If you're setting to United States or Canada, you can also add in an image with a maximum file size of 500 kilobytes. Try to keep this as small as possible. Here it has pre-selected automatically shortened the links. So it's going to shorten your URLs to something like this. Scrolling down here, we're going to leave everything as is. Let's click on Next Step. Select your subscribers or choose your segments. Click on Next Step. And here it's going to calculate the cost for your SMS. So on the free plan, you do have a credit of around $1, I believe. So you can do some test SMS campaigns to see how that goes. So for example, we can send a test and you can enter in your country code as well as your phone number and do a test. So I already did one earlier. Click on Review Campaign. If you're happy with all the different details here, we can send now, or you can schedule for later. So let's go ahead and click on Send Now. Congratulations. So that is a success. The campaign will be sent shortly. Let's click on View Campaigns. And here is where you can track how many you've sent, as well as the open rate and the click rate, and the revenue generated from that SMS campaign. Step number 7, creating segments. Segments are important because you're able to personalize messaging and your emails for higher conversions. This is also crucial for email deliverability as well as list health. Let's take a look at segments inside Omnisend. Let's head to Audience and click on Segments. On the right-hand side, we can click on Create Segment. Scrolling down here are the most popular segments in Omnisend. So let's take, for example, we can choose a segment, inactive accounts. So you can create this segment. So here are all the conditions for inactive contacts, and you can leave everything as is. You can read into it and you can tweak it, but I think it is pretty good already, and it's already set by Omnisend. So we don't have any contacts yet. So we're going to leave it as is. Let's click on segment over here again. create segment. And perhaps you can also create one with active email subscribers. You can also select this one here where people have added the product to the cart, but they didn't place an order within the last 14 days. So then you can create an email campaign targeted for those specific customers only, so you can target the messaging correctly. And for example, another really cool one is that you can target contacts from specific countries as well. For example, if you have a store which is selling worldwide, you may only want to send a specific email to the United States. For example, there are some holidays only celebrated in the United States. Then you can send out very, very specific emails to them by creating the segment. So we can click on customize here and then the city. So we're going to just click on close and we just want to select everyone in that country. We can click on save and show contacts, save, and your segment has been created. So you can click back on the top here, segments. So these are all the segments that you've created. So for example, when you're sending out email campaigns, you're able to choose specific segments, for example, USA, and then you can send out those emails only to people who are based in the United States. You're also able to create segments based on tags. So earlier we've actually created forms and we set in a tag. So you can go to segments and you can utilize those tags. You can create a segment from scratch and set in add filter. Click on tag and then you can find the tag that you've set in here. So let's just say, for example, we added the tag newsletter. Then it's going to find and show the contacts which you've tagged newsletter. So as you can see here, this email has been tagged newsletter. This gives you even more control to where you are sending your emails. So that is pretty much it. That is the basics of creating segments in OmniSend. Congratulations, this is the end of the tutorial. Thank you guys for sticking with me. Hopefully you guys have really enjoyed it. If you have any questions, you can drop it in the comment section below. The most important thing is to just get started and improve on it every single day.